Hello guys, and welcome to my second update video for what is now Major Cyclone Charlotte. Yes, this has just blown up today, even despite the wind shear that I was dealing with. But it also had, pros to it too. Like, it had the jet interaction, it had the pinhole eye, it had the great outflow, and not to mention the 31 degrees Celsius waters that it was dealing with. Now, obviously, I don't know where to get this information, so I just copied and pasted this from a Discord server onto a Google Doc so you guys can see the official estimates from the BOM, which is the official, agency that works with the Australian region. And as you can see from this right here, from 0 UTC, which is about 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, it has this at 90 knots, 10 minutes, which equivalates to 100 knots in 1 minute, which that means it's 115 miles per hour right now with a central pressure of 956 millibars. So it definitely did enough work with the time it had to intensify into a major cyclone, which I have to give it props to. Just fantastic, fantastic. This is an Australian region category 4 on their scale, so it definitely did the work that it was supposed to. And now I do believe that we've definitely seen the peak, and now it's going to slowly wind down a little bit as we head out through the next couple of days. All right, so let's see if this is updated. Yes, it has. It has updated. And as you can see, the cyclone is located at 16.6 south, 109.3 east. And now this is from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. This advisory here. So the maximum sustained winds are at 90 knots, or I think that's like 105 miles per hour. As you guys know, the BOM is the official, estimate here. So we're going to be using BOM here for this update. As you can see here, the pinhole eye is, it was there pretty nicely earlier. And as you can see, it's starting to cloud over now because now it's starting to feel the effects of that shear. It's probably starting to blast the system right now. And as you guys know, this is going to, according to the BOM, this is going to slowly wind down a little bit. It's not the BOM doesn't have it rapidly losing all of its power like right away, but it looks like we're definitely peaked here, and now we're on the weakening trend, so to speak. And we'll see what this does here for the next couple of days here in just a few moments. So now we have this GEFS here. As you can see, this is still terrible because we're at 956 millibars right now. As you can see, well, nothing has really changed with it since the last update. But it looks like it might be heading towards the western coast of Australia as an extratropical cyclone. So you could, if this does end up going to your neck of the woods, you're going to be seeing some heavy rainfall. You're going to see some pretty gusty winds, and all that, stuff that comes with an extratropical cyclone. So you won't have to worry about a full-on tropical cyclone hitting you, but it's definitely going to be pretty dicey out there if this does come you guys' way. And here we are with the GEPS, and this hasn't been updated, so we don't have to really take a look at that, I guess. So right now we're going to take a look at the sea surface temperatures here of where the system is. And as you can see, we're looking at 30 and 31 degrees Celsius where it's at right now. But as it goes farther south, it's going to be hitting these 28s, 27s, and then eventually 26s. And this is where it's going to start to lose its tropical characteristics as it heads into these colder waters and transitions into a subtropical cyclone and then eventually an extratropical cyclone, as it probably is going to head right into Australia by the looks of some of the models here. All right, so this is the 18Z GFS here, and as you can see, initialized for six hours from now. So this is pretty much happening like right now as we speak. 981 millibars. Once again, it's a terrible initialization, millibars wise, but You can see that we have 12 knots of shear and 72% relative humidity, which is pretty decent. And now we're going to go 48 hours. And as you can see, it starts to weaken a little bit because of dry air. Yeah, dry air and some shear here. 54% relative humidity is not really all that favorable. But once it transitions into a subtropical cyclone, then that doesn't really matter all too much. And as you can see, it makes landfall around Perth. So those people in Perth need to pay attention to this, as 998 millibars can bring, at least that can bring tropical storm force winds still, even if it's an extratropical cyclone. So you're still looking at some pretty decent, rains and stuff from this and wind as we head out through the next 5 days. Okay, so here is the European. This is the 18Z, and we're going to see what happens here. This is initialized terribly too, 997 millibars. We'll take a look at the soundings. 15 knots of shear and 65% relative humidity. The shear is so-so, and that relative humidity is kind of trash. 990. We go 48. We got 1,000 millibars. 6 knots of shear, but the relative humidity is not so good. And as you can see here, it makes its way towards the Australian coast. But unfortunately, we can't really look at, what's going on farther than 90 hours. But as you can see here, the shear is 39 knots, and then the relative humidity is kind of trash. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to go take a look at the 12Z's run just to see if it makes it any closer to Australia. Nope, it decides to backtrack as we head into the 5-day time frame. So we're just gonna have to see which model decides to be right on this, whether the GFS takes it into Perth, or the European just does a troll spin and head right into the opposite direction, right back where it came from. So we're just gonna have to see how that all pans out as we go out through time. All right, so here is, make sure we got the latest one. Here is the 18Z H-Wharf, and as you can see, this is initialized pretty badly too. As you guys saw in my first update video today, that was at that had a peak at around 958 millibars, but that's what it is right now. So the earlier model run was more correct than this run right here. So as you can see, we got 971. We're not gonna take a look at soundings, as this is pretty trash. And it looks like this might go into Perth too. I'm not sure where that. Actually, let's take a look at the parent. Yeah, so around Perth, this might make landfall. So that's GFS in the H-Wharf that has this going into Perth here as some type of extratropical or subtropical entity. So we're gonna have to pay attention to this. If this is the case, I'm gonna keep up with the system through the entirety of its existence. I don't know. From here, I might only do one update a day. We'll just have to see how it all pans out over the next couple of days. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching this short little update. I appreciate every single one of you guys that watches my videos and shows me support for what I do. Like I said, I'm going to be keeping track of this for the people of Perth, to see what happens with this going forward. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Have a nice night.